There's something we often overlook in this noisy world: silence. Not the kind of silence that fills the space when no one's speaking, but the silence we carry within ourselves, the kind that is intentional, powerful, and deeply mature. We live in an age where everyone shares everything. We announce our goals before we take a single step. We speak our plans, our dreams, our pain, sometimes to seek validation, sometimes out of impulse. But let me ask you a simple question. Does every thought deserve an audience? Does every dream need a witness to be real? In a world where everyone is speaking, posting, sharing, and constantly announcing their lives, silence has become rare and misunderstood. We often associate silence with weakness. If someone isn't talking, we assume they have nothing to say. If someone doesn't share their thoughts, we think they lack confidence or presence. But the truth is, silence isn't weakness. It's one of the strongest tools a person can possess. Silence reflects restraint, and restraint takes discipline. It takes character to sit with your thoughts, to feel deeply, to observe what's going on around you, and to resist the urge to immediately respond. Many people speak because they feel uncomfortable with silence. They fill gaps with noise, thinking that speaking up automatically adds value. But noise is not the same as wisdom, and presence is not measured by volume. There's power in the person who can be still, who doesn't react impulsively, who knows what they want to say but chooses to wait for the right moment, or to say nothing at all. This doesn't mean they lack ideas or emotion. On the contrary, they may be processing more than anyone realizes. Silence gives us space to really listen. It allows us to pick up on nuance, to understand what's not being said, and to respond with intention rather than reaction. Some of the wisest people are those who speak the least. They're not afraid to be silent because they don't need the approval that often comes with speaking up. They're not looking to prove anything. They know that understanding and influence don't always require words. In many cases, saying less makes what you do say carry more weight. Think about the last time you were in a conversation where someone simply listened, fully with presence. No interrupting, no waiting for their turn to talk, just listening. How powerful did that feel? How rare was that experience? That's the kind of silent strength that leaves an impression. It shows respect. It shows maturity. It shows control. In high-pressure situations, silence can be a strategy. When everyone else is panicking, rushing to speak or make decisions, the one who remains calm and quiet is often the one who sees things clearly. Silence creates space for clarity. It forces us to evaluate our emotions before giving them a voice. It invites deeper reflection and smarter responses. Silence also teaches humility. Not everything needs a response. Not every opinion needs to be spoken. Some things are better left unsaid, not because they aren't true, but because they won't help. Keeping something to yourself doesn't mean you're hiding. It means you're aware of the impact of your words. You're choosing peace over pride, purpose over impulse. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators understand this. They don't rush to announce every move. They operate with quiet confidence, knowing that what they're building will speak for itself when the time is right. They aren't afraid to be misunderstood in the short term because they're committed to long-term vision. Silence is not empty. It is full of focus, full of meaning, full of intention. It's a space where growth happens, where wisdom is formed, where emotional intelligence is strengthened. In a loud world, the person who masters silence becomes unshakable. They don't need to speak loudly to be heard. They let their presence, their actions, and their outcomes do the talking. So if you've ever felt weak for being quiet, rethink that. Your silence might just be the most powerful thing about you. When we talk about achieving something great, whether it's building a business, writing a book, losing weight, or changing your life, there's an almost instinctive urge to tell people about it. We want to announce it to the world, to share our goals, our intentions, and our dreams. We do it because we're excited, because we want accountability, because it feels good to be seen as someone with ambition. But what many people don't realize is that this impulse to share everything can actually work against us. Oversharing kills momentum. The moment you speak your goals out loud, especially to a wide audience, your brain gets a hit of dopamine. It feels almost as satisfying as actually achieving the goal. You haven't done anything yet, but your mind rewards you anyway. That satisfaction becomes a problem, because once you feel like you've already achieved something just by talking about it, you lose the urgency to act. You lose the fire. You've already been praised for starting the journey, so what's left to prove? That temporary applause becomes a substitute for real progress. And slowly, without even noticing, your motivation begins to fade. What's even more dangerous is that when you overshare, you invite opinions. The moment you share your plans with others, they feel entitled to offer feedback. Some will support you, but many won't. Some will project their doubts onto you. Others will question your ability, your timing, your vision. And whether you realize it or not, those opinions can plant seeds of hesitation in your mind. You start to question yourself. You start thinking about how to prove people wrong instead of focusing on why you started. What began as pure, driven energy now becomes a performance. You're no longer building quietly, you're responding to noise. There's also a subtle pressure that comes with oversharing. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the more you feel like you have to live up to it. That pressure might sound like a good motivator, but often it becomes paralyzing. Instead of working on your goals freely, with creativity and focus, you start to feel like you're being watched. Every step feels like it has to be perfect. You're no longer building with freedom. You're performing under a spotlight. On top of that, when you constantly talk about your plans, you burn mental energy repeating them. That energy could be used for action, research, discipline, strategy, trial and error. But instead, it's spent crafting updates, explaining your vision, responding to reactions. It's draining. And in many cases, it leads to burnout before any real progress has even been made. The people who truly get things done, the ones who surprise the world with result, are often the ones who speak the least while working. They don't need to share every step because they trust the process. They know that silence protects their momentum. That privacy creates freedom. That restraint builds power. It's not about secrecy or being antisocial. It's about discipline. It's about knowing that your energy is better spent on execution than on explanation. That your progress matters more than your promises. When you keep your goals to yourself, you give them time to grow without interference. You give yourself room to fail privately, learn quietly, and adjust freely. And when the time comes to reveal what you've built, it won't be based on hope. It will be backed by results. So next time you feel the urge to share your every move, pause. Remind yourself, you don't need validation to begin. Let your silence be your fuel. Let your discipline speak louder than your declarations. Because once the work is done, your results will speak for you. And they'll say far more than your words ever could. Not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone is supposed to. And more importantly, not everyone deserves access to it. We live in a world where oversharing is normalized. Social media has made it almost habitual to broadcast our ideas, our dreams, our next move. But when it comes to vision, your long-term purpose, your deeply personal mission, discretion isn't just smart, it's essential. Your vision is fragile in its early stages. It's like a seed planted deep in the soil. It needs time, nourishment, and protection before it can break the surface. If you expose it too soon before it's strong enough, it can be destroyed by the harsh elements of doubt, criticism, and misunderstanding. When you tell everyone what you're building before it's ready, you risk giving people the power to crush something they don't even fully understand. Some people you share with will be confused, others will be indifferent, and some without malice, simply out of their own limited thinking, will try to talk you out of it. They'll ask, "Are you sure that's going to work? Or why don't you do something safer?" Not because they don't care, but because they're looking at your life through their lens. They can't see what you see. They don't carry your passion, your intuition, your sense of purpose. Your vision wasn't assigned to them. It was assigned to you. And then there are people who don't want you to succeed. Not everyone clapping for you wants to see you win. Some are watching just to see you fail. When you share your plans too widely, you unknowingly invite negativity, competition, and even sabotage. There are people who will smile to your face and silently hope you never reach your potential because your growth challenges their comfort. Your ambition reminds them of their complacency. Your desire to go higher makes them confront the fact that they've settled. Not everyone will cheer for that. Some will try to discourage you, not because your vision is flawed, but because it makes them uncomfortable. That's why it's not only wise but necessary to be selective. Guard your vision like you would guard anything precious. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Just as you wouldn't hand a priceless artifact to a child who doesn't know its value, you shouldn't hand your dreams to people who haven't earned the right to speak into them. You have to learn to identify who has the mindset, the maturity, and the emotional intelligence to handle your vision with care. These are the people who listen more than they speak, who ask questions instead of jumping to conclusions, who support you quietly and challenge you thoughtfully. These are rare people, and they're not always your friends, your family, or your followers. Sometimes they're mentors. Sometimes they're people who have walked a path you admire. And sometimes they're just silent supporters who believe in your potential, even if they don't fully understand your path. It's okay to move in silence. It's okay to build in private. You're not hiding, you're protecting. You're not secretive, you're strategic. Your vision is not a group project, it's your personal mission. And the fewer distractions and outside voices you allow into it, the more clearly you can hear your own. There will be a time to share, a time to reveal what you've been working on, but that moment should come after the foundation is laid, after the roots are deep, after the structure is solid. Until then, keep building, keep growing, keep refining your vision in the quiet. The people who need to see it will see it, when it's ready and when you're ready. Because the truth is, those who matter will respect your silence, and those who don't. They were never meant to understand your vision in the first place. Confidence isn't something you borrow from the opinions of others. It's not built from compliments, likes, or applause. True confidence is an inside job. It's something that grows quietly, consistently, and deeply within you. Not because the world tells you you're enough, but because you decide that you are. For many people, confidence is misunderstood. It's often mistaken for loudness, dominance, or being the center of attention. But none of that is confidence. That's performance. Real confidence doesn't always walk into a room and demand attention. Sometimes it walks in quietly, makes eye contact, listens deeply, and doesn't feel the need to prove anything. Real confidence is steady, not showy. It starts with self-trust. When you say you're going to do something and you actually follow through, no matter how small, you build integrity with yourself. That internal consistency tells your mind, I can rely on me. That's where confidence begins, not in being perfect, not in knowing everything, but in trusting yourself enough to take the next step, even if you're unsure. The problem is, too many people rely on external validation for their confidence. They wait to be told they're good enough. They wait for someone else to approve their path, their decisions, their worth. But that approval is fragile. It can change in a second. The same people who praise you today can ignore you tomorrow. If your confidence is built on their voices, it crumbles when their voices fade. When your sense of worth is tied to how others react to you, you become a prisoner to their opinions. You hesitate. You overthink. You question your value every time someone disagrees with you or doesn't respond the way you hoped. That's not confidence, that's dependency. Confidence that comes from within doesn't waver with opinions. It's not shaken by criticism. That doesn't mean you ignore feedback or never feel doubt. It means you know how to stand tall, even when others don't see your value, because you've already seen it for yourself. You've done the work. You've fought your own battles. You've picked yourself up enough times to know that you can do it again. Inner confidence also comes from acceptance. When you stop trying to be everything to everyone, you begin to discover who you really are. When you embrace your strengths, own your flaws, and show up authentically, you take back your power. You're no longer performing, you're simply being. And that honesty, that grounded presence, is what makes others respect you, not the mask, but the truth behind it. It's a quiet power. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to announce its presence. It just is. Confident people don't walk into a room thinking they're better than everyone. They walk in not needing to compare at all. They don't have to put others down to feel taller. They've already built their height from the inside. Confidence isn't built in a day. It's built in the moments when no one is watching. When you choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, and purpose over popularity. It's built when you keep going after failing, when you speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable, and when you show up fully even when no one claps. So if you're searching for confidence, stop looking outside, start within, show up for yourself, keep your word, trust your voice, respect your journey. You don't need the world to validate you. You just need to believe deeply and consistently that you are capable, worthy, and enough regardless of who agrees. Because the most powerful confidence is the kind no one can give you, and more importantly, the kind no one can take away. It's easy to talk. It's easy to say what you're going to do, to announce your goals, to explain your dreams. Talking feels good. It gives you a sense of progress without actually moving an inch. But in the end, words without action mean nothing. They don't build anything. They don't change lives. They don't inspire trust. That's why it's not your intentions that define you. It's your actions. We all have intentions. We intend to start the business. We intend to go to the gym. We intend to wake up early, be more disciplined, fix our habits, be better friends, take care of our health. But intentions are only as powerful as the actions that follow them. Without action, even the best intentions are just empty promises to ourselves and others. Think about the people you admire, not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who move the most. The ones who quietly show up, do the work, and deliver, day after day. They don't have to explain what they're doing because the results speak for them. They've let their actions build their reputation. They've let their consistency prove their character. You can tell people all day long what you're going to do, but eventually they stop listening. Not because they don't care, but because they're waiting to see if you'll actually follow through. And when you don't, when you keep announcing but never delivering, it chips away at your credibility. It becomes harder for others to take you seriously. Worse than that, it becomes harder for you to take yourself seriously. Every time you talk but don't act, You train your brain to expect applause for effort instead of execution. You start to feel satisfied just by announcing the plan. That satisfaction becomes a substitute for discipline. And slowly, you build a habit of talking more than doing. That's where momentum dies. Letting your actions speak louder doesn't mean being silent forever. It means resisting the urge to speak too soon. It means doing the work quietly and letting the results be the announcement. You don't need to post about every workout to prove you're committed. You don't need to tell everyone you're changing your life. Just change it. When the time is right, they'll notice. And if they don't, that's okay too. Because your growth isn't about being seen, it's about becoming. When your actions align with your intentions, something powerful happens, trust builds. People begin to believe in you not because of what you say, but because of what you consistently do. That trust becomes the foundation for leadership, for influence, for real respect. People follow examples, not speeches. They follow those who walk the talk. The truth is, action is louder than any declaration. You don't have to convince people you're serious when you're showing up every day. You don't have to explain your work ethic when it's visible in your results. You don't have to argue about your potential when your progress is undeniable. The louder your actions become, the less you have to explain. This isn't just about impressing others. It's about building self-trust. When you do what you say you'll do, over and over again, you prove to yourself that your words mean something. That your promises to yourself are sacred. That's where true confidence comes from. Not from the outside world, but from within. So talk less, work more, plan quietly, execute boldly, let your life be your message, let your discipline tell the story. Let your results introduce you, because in the end it's not about what you intended to do. It's about what you actually did. Real victories, the kind that last, the kind that change you, are rarely born in the spotlight. They begin in silence, in the unnoticed, uncelebrated moments of effort, pain, discipline, and consistency. The world sees the outcome, but not the grind. And that's why private progress is so powerful. Because when you commit to growing behind the scenes, you build something that no one can take from you. You earn your public victory in the quiet hours when no one is watching. It's tempting to want immediate recognition. To show the world what you're working on. To prove that you're moving forward. But that need for visibility often gets in the way of genuine progress. When you constantly seek applause for the process, you risk trading results for validation. You end up spending more energy on appearing successful than on actually becoming it. And what you build in that space is fragile, easily broken by criticism or a lack of external response. But when you choose to grow privately, something different happens. You begin to develop resilience. You learn to trust yourself. You find out what you're truly capable of. Not because someone else is clapping for you, but because you've stayed committed even when no one noticed. That kind of progress is deeper, stronger, it shapes your character, it teaches you discipline, it sharpens your mindset. In private, you can fail without shame. You can experiment, fall short, and try again without the pressure to explain yourself. That freedom creates space for real learning. You begin to realize that growth isn't a performance, it's a process. And the less attention you seek during that process, the more authentic your evolution becomes. You don't need to tell the world every time you make a move. You don't need to prove your effort every step of the way. Let the world wonder, let them underestimate you. That quiet season where you're building without applause is sacred. It's where habits are formed, where your mindset is tested, where you separate who you were from who you're becoming. Then one day the results speak for themselves. You walk into the room changed, stronger, sharper, more confident. You didn't post about every early morning, every late night, every challenge you overcame. But all of that is now woven into who you are. You don't need to explain it. You asterisk it. That's the power of private progress. It transforms you in ways that no amount of praise ever could. Public victory is simply the evidence of private discipline. People see the success and assume it happened quickly. They say, "You're lucky," or "You're talented," and not realizing that what they're witnessing is the tip of the iceberg. The real work, the growth, the grit, the patience was done in silence. It's not about hiding your progress out of fear or shame. It's about honoring the process enough to protect it. Growth is fragile in the beginning. It needs space. It needs consistency. It needs you to keep showing up without needing permission or praise. That's where real momentum is built. But watch now you choose yourself. Don't stop just because no one's sobs us through every feature clever pug moment. Stay focused, stay grounded. Keep moving in the dark. Because the time will come when everything you've been working on, everything you've been building will break through, and the world will see the results of what you already knew, that private progress always leads to public victory.